So, yeah, a very interesting things that we have today for you guys. First of all, I'm really happy to be around here, and yeah, Karine. I hope I pronounced your name the right way. Karine Gilles from Germany, Cologne. Nice to meet you. I hope you get a good time here, and yeah, be free to ask questions anytime. I'll be sure to answer them. And yeah, nice to meet you. So I was saying, yeah, my name is Amadou Bal. I'm from Mauritania. It's a West African country. I am from the Fulani tribe. It is the most scattered tribe in West Africa, and yeah, I've studied a lot throughout Europe, France, Paris, Toulouse, Casablanca, but yeah, I'm a very proud alumni of Global Business School. Did everything there that I ever wanted to do, and now I'm a very proud professor as well. You know, just you know, being a part of Global Business School journey to get a lot more people to really discover their passion and do what they want to do. And for those of you guys I've seen who want to get into the world of sports and just how great that world of sports is, you know, there are a lot of things, there are a lot of prerequisites that I think you guys should know about. You know, it is a really interesting world, and there is a lot of things that you need to know before you get in. Obviously, this you know, this master from Global Business School, it's an excellent idea for you guys to be satisfied in what you do. And even though I'm a PhD student, I think I'll take that master myself. And even though I'll participate in teaching that, but I think it would just be interesting. So there are some basics that you guys need to know when you get into the world of sports. You have to be very good at, you know, planning events. But the basics are usually, you know, what you will get, you know, people will teach you in the schools. They will teach you about, you know, having organizational skills, right? They will teach you, you know, how to build your network. You know, networking is the second most important thing after your organizational skills, which is how you manage yourself and your team. And then there is the networking phase of the whole you know, teaching procedure, people teaching you how to build a very strong physical and digital network, because without that, you know, I mean, you just can't survive really. And then there are some tools that people are going to teach you, you know, in terms of self-development and just how to, you know, get a lot of resilience and adaptability really. And then there is the event planning part of being on that journey, which is, you know, really important, you know, thing to know. You know, what we do at the end of the day, our passion is all about creating memorable moments, create memories through, you know, events, and through that event being able to, you know, get that value, you know, out and about throughout the whole event. And the other thing is, you know, the creativity. You know, at the end of the day, you are marketing students before being, you know, you're marketers before being anything else, which means your ability to innovate in a world of sport. You know, all the sports are the same, right? When you play football, you can't just wake up in the morning and say, yeah, well, we're creating new football, and our football, you know, instead of kicking the ball to the net, you will kick it to a wall. Oh, that's innovation for you, but yeah, you won't be certified. People won't be interested because that's not the product you used to consume. Now, creativity and adaptability, I feel like this is the two parts people don't talk about when they talk about, you know, the world of sports. And I did that on purpose. You know, you guys will be very good at organizing. You guys will be very good at networking. You guys are really good at, you know, being adaptive yourself. You guys are going to be really good at planning events. But when it comes to the creativity part, people are like hitting the wall. How can I be creative when a sport it's a discipline? It has regulations. You can't change anything into the sport. You can definitely change the way the product is experienced. But then again, there is a way to consume sport, and that's 1,000 years ago. Right, since the Colosseum and the gladiators, and people were sitting there in the Colosseum watching people fight. We've been enjoying sport that way for a long time. At the end of the day today, no matter how networks are providing subscriptions for people to get events and watch them on their phone, their television, the real fan and the real consumer experience will always going to be those who are sitting there. So how can you be creative? How can you adapt to everything that's happening around you? Coronavirus, for example. How can you do that at the same time being adaptive? At the same time being resilient? At the same time providing something new? And this is something I feel like every single person was thrown out there into the sport world and had to figure it out himself. I figured it out myself, my way, and this is the way I'm going to share with you guys, just to know how to adapt that. And now there is something that I use. It's like it's a procedure. How would I cope? Adaptability. How can I be adaptive and creative at the same time, preserving my value and preserving the respect of the sport? Because ethics in sport is really important. The way the sport is conducted is really important. So how can I do that? How can I be that and be creative at the same time? Well, for that you need tools, and and the tools allows you to, have some sort of journey and know your checkpoints all the time. I'll give you examples along the way when we think through it. The things I got to do at the federation since I've been there. The first thing I did is, I feel like if you come into the sport, the first thing you need to you need to be in a position where you have a mission. Right? Sport rhymes with passion. Right? Even for me, even the people who worked in the world of sports as an accountant, they still have to have passion for the sport. So the first thing you need to have, if you're that new marketing manager, that new sports manager, and that wants to get into the world of sport and create events, the first thing you need to do is to have a mission. And the first thing about the mission, and we're going to get back to that, your mission is what going to set you apart from other people. A great example for that is what we do at the Federation of Football. People have been consuming football for quite a while. They never had a problem with it. Now, when I came in here, my greatest challenge was the president came in to listen. We have a national sport, we have a national league, but people are not watching it. They're watching the Premier League, they're watching the Calcio, they're even watching national teams of other countries play, and they don't watch us as much as we feel like they should watch us. And I was like, for that we need a mission. And the mission is what's the main thing that will make us different. And I realized, what was my mission? My mission was, I wanted to use sport to unite. Because if you're a sports manager, it doesn't mean you have to be a socialist. The first thing you ask yourself is, why are people using sport? What are they using it for? When we qualified in 2018 for the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations, which was the first time in our history, we were bonding together, and it was one of the most magical moments of our country. We were so close and so happy. I was like, that is my mission. I want to create that, and I want my customer to consume my products, which is my service, my football, not because it is right, not because it's his favorite team or it is his favorite player. People are always going to choose Ronaldo and Messi and Barcelona over us. I'm really realistic. No, people are going to use it and use our product because they have a sense of longing to it, a sense of purpose, something attracted to it. If they feel like they're doing, it's their duty. what I call a Call of Duty. So my mission was to unite through sports. And from that mission, from now on, every marketing decision that I take come from that mission. Because my mission will give you the objectives. And then, as a sports manager, you need to have objectives. Why? Because, trust me, whenever you come in a discipline, you're going to feel like you want it all. Okay, I want this, I want that, I want that. You know, if you get into the soccer, you're like, oh, I want to be a sports manager of beach soccer. I want to be a sports manager of normal soccer. No. You have to have objectives. And your objectives are the things that you work every day for in order to serve your mission. So my objectives, I can definitely share that with you, is that as a sports manager, I realized, okay, if my mission is to get people to get that sense of duty to consume their local football in order to support unity, how can I do that? Well, I need to be in every single place where my consumer is when consuming sports-like products, whether it is digital or physical. I need to be there wherever they are. If they're consuming it on coffees, I should be there on coffees, on restaurant cafes. If they're consuming it on barbershops, what they do in my country, people like getting a haircut, getting a beer trim, and talking about, and watching the game. I need to be there, right? If they are on really, really famous streaming services like we have on Africa, like Bein Sports and Canal Plus, I need to be there too. So one of my objectives, the main one, was to penetrate that market, to flooding myself out there to everyone. Instead of them coming to me, I'll come for them. Well, now I have objectives. And now I need a strategy, right? It's easy to say, oh, my mission is to unite people. It's easy to say, oh, my objective is to get closer to people and integrate our market. Well, how can I do that? And well, that is my strategy as a sports manager. You know your objective, you know your mission, now you need a strategy. And your strategy is, how are you going to get into those? For my example, once again, this is the part that makes you different, is that look for what others need, because your first client is not, and I repeat, the first client is not the ones that will pay the ticket. No, it's those that will help you sell those tickets. They're your first clients. Never forget that, because without them you can't do anything. So my first clients have obviously become those who carry on those cafes, those sports networks, those huge barbershops that gets hundreds and thousands of clients every day. They become my first clients. And in order to get them to be a part of my journey, I need to propose to them a thing that will make them be a part of whatever I want them to do. So if my mission is to provide unity in the world of sports, they need to be the first ambassador of that. They need to be the first people who understand that. By providing them the products that I need. I can give you very simple examples. Some will say to me, oh yeah, I won't mind getting your games in here, but I got a lot of people that they come here to watch Barcelona matches during that day. We don't have that problem because on International Day, it's not a problem. But what is it on League Day? Because we also have a league here. I said, well, what can I do in order to make you make that change for me? He said, yeah, well, I'll need to convince them. I said, okay, I've got an idea for you. How about we sponsor some haircuts? And how about we give you the material, branded materials that we have that you could use and you can give to your clients and tell them that the haircuts was actually sponsored and paid by us. He said, would you really pay that? I said, yeah. He thought it was a huge thing, but for a federation, it's really nothing. But, the money we gain from that is just astronomical. Because when the numbers of TV come out, I just have to show that to my sponsor and say, I think we need to negotiate here. The contract was when we had 100,000 views, people watching, but now it's 500,000. I think we need to talk. More money for him, more money for me, more money for the barber, everybody wins. That's the strategy that I need you guys to have. Your first clients are those who are going to help you spray that mission, spray that objective, and you need to satisfy them first in order to make that on that journey, because what you're trying to create is a factory. A factory because you can't do this alone. So you need people who will help you produce. If I turn the barber and the guy controlling the cafe and those networks into some sort of brand ambassadors without them even knowing that they're brand ambassadors, well, what happens is that I've turned them into people who work for me in a certain way. As long as they win, I win. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's easy because we took hits. I could have got more money without involving them that much, but I tried to convince the president that we are trying to look for a long run here, and we need to pay. Whatever we need to do, we need to do. And what things that will make you different is your ability to make the people you're talking to, wherever they are in the world of sports, your president, your boss, your client, never sell the product alone. Oh, I sell this. Oh, how's it? 5,000 euros. Here you go. Thank you. Have a nice day. No, that's going to get your company money. That's not going to make your company rich. And that's what you want, to make your sport rich, not only in terms of money, in terms of following, in terms of value. In order to do that, every single person that takes part in that needs to have the same mission as you. You have to be able to share those values with people in order you have to be able to show them where you're going. And at the Federation, that was the whole thing we sell to people. Even though we just came to tell you that we needed your sponsor for a match, a partnership, we needed you to sponsor us for a match. We will not come, oh, we need to sponsor you for a match. No, we came up with the whole, okay, the Federation and the country has this new mission of uniting people through sports. You know, oh, really? Oh, yeah. And we think we just can't do it without you. You just absolutely a vital part of that. It's like, oh, really? He said, yeah, because by doing this, and I show him really honestly how much his participation will help us. I will give you financial statements of where his money will go, how would it help the academy, because I was like, okay, because with your sponsorship, we use that, we have an academy, we train 100 kids every year to become professional students. He's like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, and you're consuming the national sport. This is the thing. This is what you need. A product in itself never sells. Is the allure behind the product that sells, right? An iPhone will cost about 200-300 euros to make in Philippines or Thailand. That's the truth. But an iPhone will cost almost 1,500,000 because that's the allure. That's the value that Apple was able to make through associating them brands with celebrities, to turning their creators into celebrities, to very strong marketing. And in order to do that, they needed to spend money, they needed to spend resource, and they needed every single person that works with the Apple project to have the same value as the Apple project. And that's exactly what you do as a sport manager. So this is my strategy. Now, a strategy tells you how to do things. But that's not enough. Well, what do I need then? Well, you need tactics. You see, the tools that I'm using is called MOST. It's mission, objectives, strategy, and tactics. Tactics in this very example. Oh, now I know I need to attract those guys. I have my strategy in order to attract those people to cafes. And what is my tactics? Well, if strategy is how you will do it, well, tactic is what will you do? You see, till strategy, it was all talking, right? Up to tactics, that's when the acting part starts. And when we get to the acting phase, it's what do I do to these guys, right? First of all, as a marketer, as a neuro-marketer, we practice something called salience. Salience is just whenever you have a visual, There are certain things that you need to highlight in order to people to get the information you want them to get. And there are other maybe marketing tactics that we use. We know how to penetrate the customer's mind through repetitive presence. Right? Everybody knows Coca-Cola, but somehow you see Coca-Cola in an ad. You're like, why does Coca-Cola need to do ads? Even a child born today knows what Coca-Cola is. Coca-Cola knows that as long as they stay in your subconscious, they don't need to be in your conscious, but as long as you see the ad, it stays in your subconscious, trust me, you won't even notice the way you will go into a store and grab a Coke or a Coke Diet without even knowing that you did. And you didn't know, because that ad stayed in your subconscious. Same thing we do here. It goes back to my mission. It goes back to my objective, which was to penetrate this whole industry. So my tactic was I invested a lot of money in visuals. And they were like, yo, I remember in business committees, the president was, yo, don't you think you're investing too hard on this? I said, trust me, we need that. So I invested a lot of visuals with the people we worked, because we know as long as the customer had our visuals in front of his site, he will always be intrigued. Right, we created masks for the COVID-19. Now the federation has masks, those really new masks that people wear them, they can clean it, and everybody has them now in the city. More visibility for us, right? The investment will come later. We shouldn't be really greedy. And a lot of other things that we do. I changed the whole way we interacted with people in the internet. Back in the day, the federation just had to, oh, the score was 2-0 today, and they come back, oh, we opened a new store. No. Now we are more interactive. We talk to people. We create memes. Yeah, we do. We create memes. We create quiz. We give giveaways. All that to push people to interact more with my product, be more familiar to it and more used to it, so that one day, when I come and say, oh, I'll have an online store, that thing will be well received, because they already trust me and know the federation enough, so that when we come with a new product, they'll just use it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that sometimes all these tactics do not yield an immediate result. The result will come later. And I know that sometimes people, get confused about the MOST. They can't make a difference between a mission, an objective, a strategy, a tactic. Well, look at it from a very simple perspective, right? Very simple perspective. What if, let's say I have a car, and my mission, it seems like oh damn. Now, it seemed very funny. The event stopped and I received the screen that Facebook told me that they were having a technical issue. Quite an irony. My first time back in Facebook in 5 years, they meet me with a technical issue. That's really sad. So, but we're just gonna carry on. Anyway, these guys, you just can't trust them when you meet them. But yeah, we're just gonna continue what we do and just see where we were. So where we were is the things that people won't just tell you, and there is trust, and that comes back to the networking. And the networking, you need to be able to create personal relationships with the people in the world of sports. It's not a technical, scientific world where people, when credentials is the thing that matters. No, it's a world where relationships is what creates it. People work together because they trust each other, because they share the same values. So whenever you need something to be done, right, the first thing you need to do is to always make sure to have great, they don't have to be BFFs relationship, but you always need to have superb relationship with people. Sometimes you won't need them, but they need you. You have to be able to be there for them. Sometimes they won't need you, but for all time's sake, they'll be there for you. And this is something I wasn't expecting, but it's really present in the world of sport. You always have to be able to maintain a very, very steady relationship with the guys. And the second thing is that you'll be shocked about the different narratives that you just get. The narratives are so different. I mean, you will come to the sport and, you know, as a mate, I was like just sitting there and they were just like with the message, oh, we're having technical issues. I used Firefox because I knew Chrome was going to bug, but apparently even Firefox can handle it. I think it's because of that new Facebook interface. They can't handle it for now. So yeah, so I was like, the narratives are different. You would think people will share everything you have in terms of mission, but no. People will have their own narratives. This guy you're working with in this world of sport will want the world of sport to go in this direction because he has a political gain. Some people work in the world of sports, but they also are politicians, and which means that they want the world of sport to take a certain stance. For example, you know, you will have people tell you, well, I would like your players to, you know, give their opinion about the protest. You know, my players are players. They are conscious people. The national team can talk about people, I don't know, to drink more water, to do sport, to be more healthy. I don't want them to take a political stance. And sometimes they can just block your funding because you're not helping them win their campaign. Seriously, because the narratives are different. Sometimes you will want to get a certain partnership within a company. The whole company wants you to get that partnership, but the problem is the guy in the financial department doesn't want you to have that partnership because the current partnership, he's getting money out of it. And these are the things you should know. These are the things you should be prepared for, because they can discourage you. Sometimes you will go out there and think, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm the one who just can't propose. Because sometimes, I remember we had these offers that you just can't say no to. The national teams are superstars. And you will come to a company, he's like, no. You're like, but the unity, the people, it's like, I'm good. Oh, then you realize they got a narrative because with the basket, he wants to invest in basketball because that town, the youngsters use basketball more, and he wants to be a mayor. So he wanted to be closer to the basketball side of the youth by investing in basketball, not football, so that when he comes to say, oh, I want to be a mayor, people say yes. That's the world of sport, and that's what I want you guys to know. And the third thing that I think you know is corruption. People are not of good faith wherever they are, but it's more accentuated in sport. Why? Because of the funding, right? Because of the huge financial intricacies that are involved in the world of sport. And if you are an ethical person, you don't need to worry about that. But the problem is corruption comes both ways. It would definitely hurt you if you become corrupted, but it can hurt you because you're not. Sometimes when you refuse certain things or refuse to work with certain people, they're gonna come for you. And that's what I need you guys to be prepared for, right? And in order to get away from that, is always, it comes back to the value. Had you had partners with whom you shared the same mission, regardless of money, you would never have this problem. There are a lot of barbershops here in the city that I could have partnered with. They actually have more clients. But I knew we weren't sharing the same mission about unity because they were more interested in financial goods. I knew if I give them my products to give them to their customers, they will actually not give them to their customers, they will sell them. And that's corruptive, and that will hurt my mission. So I knew from the get-go that I needed to surround myself with the right people that share my values, even if that means that at the same time I won't get the amount of money that I wanted to, make right now. So you will have to know how to distance yourself from that. You will have to know how to distance yourself. You don't be a knight of shining armor coming to wipe and cleanse the world of sports of corruption. You can't. Instead, let them do their thing and do yours. Just surround yourself with the people you won't have problem to, because when you already went to a company or an institution knowing what was there, which is the importance of always doing research before you do anything, well, when they hook you in and they like your product, but then you realize some of them say, okay, we have a lot of offers, obviously, the Federation of Basketball, the Federation of Boxing, but we will take you, but we need you to, slide something under the table. Oh, you say, no, I can't do that. Well, do you think some of them will just tell you, oh, okay, that's bad for you, goodbye? No, they will try to destroy you after, which is the importance of knowing where you're getting yourself into in the world of sports. So it's about building trust, different narratives, because people's goals are not the same in the world of sports. We all may like the same discipline. We all may like football, basketball, but our narratives about why we like it may not be the same. And you, as an expert, you need to be able to detect that really fast, so that you always surround yourself with people that share your values. And after that, you should know, it comes back to the three things. In the world of sport, everything is pre-planned, right? If you get very close to FIFA, you will know that FIFA already has plans for World Cup 2030 or 2032 or 2034, 10-15 years from now. They won't tell you that. Now it looks like, oh, they're all invested in what you should know is that you should always be ahead of time when you're in the world of sports, right? Especially those sports discipline that people like, right? You should know that when they are communicating about this product, that means that product was done maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They are already talking about what they are going to do in the next 4 or 5 years. And you need to know that. So if you come to your discipline, no matter what your discipline is, and you're surprised when a new event comes up in the city, and you're surprised when a new product comes up from that guy, and you're surprised when the discipline is trying to open a new facility in another country or promoting that in another country, you need to tell yourself immediately, oh, I'm not doing this the right way. Because if I'm doing this the right way, I needed to surround myself with the people that are linked to that and know that. Because innovation, right, adaptability is all about you being able to anticipate. Why do we innovate? Because we anticipated a need. Why adapt if you could have anticipated the problem and find a way to innovate around it without even needing to adapt in the first place? So you should know this is the way the world of sports work. And I know that because I was an amateur. I did boxing before, and through my training I saw how that world works. It's the same. I am a football fan, American football fan, really. I work in soccer, as American would say. We say football too. But I'm an American football fan. But I work in the world of football because I also love football. And it's all the same. People at the head always have plans that span around the next 10 years. Your job as the sports manager, for the greatness of your players, for the greatness of your agency or your team, whatever you are doing, whatever is your particular job on that world, is to be able to actually be close to those people that identify those projects. And you do the same tactics. You don't have to corrupt them. Just let them know that you're here too for them. And when you propose to them. And whatever you do, sometime even I can say that very freely to you guys. There are contracts that we gave out lately, especially for advertisements and printing products. We didn't just choose them because they had the best offer. We also chose them because, you know, they were in the best position to get us close to certain people that we believe, if we are close to them, can help us put the sports right. So we will help them by, you know, invest in the companies that they are close to, or, you know, support them in their cause if it's a very good cause, just to get their attention, so that whatever we have something to propose, they'll be there for us. That's exactly the world of business too. But I need you guys to know that being a great marketer and having the greatest tools in the world, you just won't magically come here and innovate. You know, you will have to be able to understand the jungle in the first place, right? And whatever, you know, the last one, and I think it's probably the most personal one, is, you know, you will never get the full credit of whatever you do. You will never get the full credit, you know, of whatever is done, you know. And if you got into the world of sports to have that credit, I don't think you should be. Because there are a lot of things, there are a lot of people that are, you know, included in sport. You can't do it alone. So there are a lot of credit there to go around. Sometimes you just won't get any. All the things that I've told you that we've done in the federation that I did, well, the world and you know, the territory, they don't know it's me. They think it's the president, and I'm really happy with that. And that is the way it should be done. You do things because you're passionate about it. You don't do it because you want the credit. If I want the credit of what I do, I will one day open my sports agency. But as long as I am a one of many people who work out there to build their national sport, to build the sport and to make it a reference in Africa, that shouldn't be my goal. My goal shouldn't be to be known as the guy who's done it. My goal shouldn't be to get credit for that. No, my goal will be to just do whatever I can. My passion. And this is the world of sport. People are going to take the credit of things you do and go out there and sign it in the media and take the credit from themselves. If you're here to be recognized, oh, it's me, I'm the one, I don't think that this is the world for you. I think you should go out there, be a singer or be a writer or something like that. But I don't think this is the discipline for you. But there is a way to counter that. You may not have the credit, but you can make yourself indispensable. And that's the best way to go around. You may not get the credit, but by trying to make yourself indispensable in the world of sport, people will need you. Your job will be secure. You will always have promotions. When you work for your own, for your own self, having your own company, you will always get more opportunity because you've found a way to make yourself indispensable. How should someone do that? Well, with value. You see, all those values that I put forth in a federation were not values that I thought were good. They were my own. They were my own value. How I value things. They were my own ethical and sociological values. Which means only I can work on that. The tools that I've created, the most analysis that I told you guys that we're using at the Federation, those values and how those values are identified, only I can do it. Because I'm the one who came up with those values, and those values don't come from Tom, Dick and Harry, they come from me. Which means I am the one who can work on them, really. And that's how I make myself indispensable, because you really want that in the world of sports. Positions comes and goes every second. right? With the COVID, for example, a lot of, not us in the federation, but I heard a lot of federation of other countries, they just let a lot of people go, right? If you had your own sports agency or you were a manager yourself, you could suffer from that too, because your players won't have money enough to pay you now. They'll cut you. If you had your agency, you lose a lot of contracts. But if you found a way to be indispensable through how you work, I created a chain of work, a tactics. You see all those objectives, strategy, tactics. I'm the one who made them, and if you and when you make yours, only you can do them. Why? Because only you are the one who came up with that. People can copy this, but they never copy what's here in here. The heart, you can copy that. And about value, there are a lot of things you can do to identify value in the world of sports, and this is what I do. There is a content that Global Business School has put forth about value. Is the 10+1 business insights for developing countries that I made with Global Business School. It all talks about how to identify value, and I advise you guys to go out there on the Global Business School page and follow it. They have a great content, and you can see that content too down there, when you will see we put forth 10 values that will allow you to identify value on the field and identify value on digital platforms. Why? Because value becomes your tool for innovation. You innovate through your values, but it has also another job, which is you will use also value to create content on digital platform in order to still fuel that Google and Facebook and Instagram, whatever you want, algorithm to still be a trending person. And I will advise you guys to go out and check that video. But the other thing is to always repeat. Consistency is how you will get judged. You will not get judged. Your performance will not get judged based upon one thing that you've done and it was good. No, you will be judged if you've been able to successfully make your events always have the same criteria, the same level of value. Oh, just because I am in this city, my event is very posh. Oh, I'm in that city, my event is not that great. No, you need to have consistency in how you propose your value. It needs to be consistent every time, because people will feel that on digital platforms when you put it, and your consistency will attract those kind of contracts that you need. Trust me on that. And the last advice I'll probably put out there and really helped me a lot is frustration. There will be moments when you will be frustrated, but what I need you to understand is that frustration is an indicator of change, because when you are frustrated is your mind way of telling you have reached a wall where you are just incapable of doing. Your intellectual, physical, emotional power are not enough for the things you are living right now, which is why you are frustrated. Well, use it as an indicator of change. Whenever you feel that huge, surge of frustration, you need to immediately realize there is something that needs to change. Whenever I felt frustrated about the federation, it's something that we needed to do and the things were really slow, I knew there was something to be changed. Either I have to change something from my strategy, either there are people that I should remove, either there are people that I should get involved. There is something that needs to change in order to get past that frustration period. And the other thing that we do here is that we understand human psychology. And human beings have egos. And that ego is a tank, and it has to be fueled every time with praise. What I do is I always give credit where it's due. We never lose one single occasion to thank and praise and highlight every single person that helps us do anything, whether it is small, whether it is big. And we always repeat that because people have conscience. Those who have egos sometimes will just come to the Federation and promote us just because they want to be praised. And praise has also a financial income. For certain people, getting praise would mean that they will get elected. For other people, would mean that the board would give them another mandate of 5 years. For another people, would mean they will get more ratings for their product, which means they will get more clients. So you see people talk about eco-business, but there is also something called ego business. I'm not in the eco business. I'm in the ego business. I fill people's egos. They give me what I want. I further my cause. And that's something that I thought you guys need to do in order to be more adaptive in the world of sports, is to always have that ego jar of praise and just pour it around everyone. And everyone will be happy. And the last advice that I have for you guys, because our time is up, is something that's really personal to me. Obviously, you know, you have to have passion, because if you don't, you've got nothing to do here, really. But the other thing is to be yourself. You really need to be yourself. Because only by being yourself and knowing yourself, you know who you are, you know what you want, you know what you won't want, you know what you're good at, you know what you're not good at, you know what your passion lies and what your limits are. Only then would you be able to identify your values, right? If I told you today to what we told about, you know, being indispensable through your values, because whatever you do, your values will go through them. Well, if you're someone who wondered about, okay, but how can I identify my value? But that is a sign that you need to, you know, go out there and try to discover yourself and accept whatever you find, because human beings are all the same. We all have heads and ears and wants and needs. We all eat food. We all like chocolate. Not all of us, but I think we all do. What makes us different after our fingerprints, it's our personality. It's the only thing that makes you different. Someone can physically look at you, do what you do, and even do better. But can he have your personality? That's up to you. So being yourself, the qualities that you have, put them forward. The things that you're not good at, don't talk about them, don't do them. Let yourself be yourself. And whatever value you find yourself very good at, just go through that. I discovered that the thing that, by accepting myself, the thing that I came about knowing the most